let's be honest, every fan base's love has a limit.
Watson is trash.
I'm gonna burn this Watson jersey.
We're Cleveland! We don't like Deshaun Watson!
So fair or not, let's take a look around the NFL at 15 players who were absolutely hated on by their own team's fans. Russell Wilson, QB, Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson was supposed to be a game changer for the Broncos and give them stability under center, something that they hadn't experienced since Peyton Manning retired. But the Broncos clearly missed the memo that Mr. Unlimited, as he's been known to call himself, was seriously washed up. And if that wasn't painful enough for fans to come to peace with, how about his bizarre Captain America shtick? Like when he couldn't stop saying, "Broncos country, let's ride," which clearly only hurt his case with the fans, who quickly grew tired of his antics. Russell Wilson went from wholesome overachiever to cringe poster boy in record time. It wasn't just the bad play, oh no, it was the vibes. Mike Vanderjack, kicker, Indianapolis Colts. Mike Vanderjack might be one of the most accurate kickers in NFL history, but in Indianapolis, he's just going to be remembered for his one missed kick. And, well, the events that ensued thereafter. Colts fans have every reason to like the guy. He literally didn't miss a single kick in the 2003 season, including the playoffs. However, in the biggest moment of his career, he yanked a 46-yarder that would have tied the 2005 divisional round against Pittsburgh. But the real nail in the coffin was the decision to criticize Peyton Manning in the offense in a boozed-up interview, which led to Manning publicly calling him a drunken idiot kicker. Michael Vick, QB, Atlanta Falcons. Michael Vick was once a human highlight reel, the original cheat code. He was the Falcons offense and identity for a good period of time. But man, when the dogfighting scandal broke, it felt like the whole city of Atlanta had its heart ripped out, and the fan base turned on him. The team had built around him. He was the guy. And then came the federal charges, the prison sentence, and the total collapse of any goodwill that he had left. Sure, some fans forgave him, but not a lot did. Not when it costs the franchise its momentum, its future, and its dignity. Jamal Adams, safety, New York Jets. Jamal Adams was supposed to be the face of the Jets defense. He had the swagger, the stats, the Pro Bowls. But man, his constant complaining and hollow persona wore thin real quick. Whether it was him whining about fines, skipping virtual workouts, or begging for a trade, it always felt like Adams was more focused on himself or creating the perception of leadership rather than actually doing any of the meaningful work to help the team. So when the Jets flipped him to Seattle for a treasure chest of picks, including one that turned into Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, Jets fans didn't have a complaint in the world, regardless of his talent. Truth of the matter is that they were relieved. Zack Wilson, QB, New York Jets. It's not entirely his fault, as we've seen that the Jets will find a way to make life hard for their quarterback. Pretty much no matter what, but man, were Jets fans rough on Zack Wilson. He was drafted number 2 overall, which obviously comes with some expectations, but man, he was thrown into an absolute mess. No O-line, inconsistent coaching, and sky-high expectations. And when the results didn't come fast enough, the fan base pounced. They ripped his attitude, mocked his interviews, booed him mercilessly. Man, the hate got so bad that Wilson had to delete his social media.
As an offense, though, I mean, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
Don't get us wrong. Jets fans had every right to demand better, but the level of vitriol this kid got was really something else. Albert Haynesworth, DE, Washington Commanders. $100 million. That is what Washington gave Albert Haynesworth to be their defensive anchor. And let's just say that the ROI was far from satisfactory. What they got instead was a walking cautionary tale about giving a long-term mega deal to a guy with character and motivation concerns. He showed up out of shape, clashed with coaches, and flat out gave up on plays. Fans just watched him collect checks while mailing it in, and boy, that just drove him insane. This was not a slow fall from grace. It was a spectacular implosion, and Washington fans just could not wait to see him go. Johnny Manziel, QB, Cleveland Browns. The Browns took a chance on Johnny Football, hoping that the Heisman winner could be their long-lost savior at quarterback, a position that has haunted them for generations. But instead, they got frat boy energy, off-the-field chaos, and, well, zero accountability. Manziel was just never locked in, and while the media still tried to build excitement excitement around him, his teammates knew that he was gonna flame out. I mean, it just seemed like everyone knew it, the coaching staff included. They just didn't want to admit it publicly. The fans, on the other hand, well, they tried to keep the faith for his rookie year, but it became abundantly clear that they were done after 2 seasons of nonsense. As was Manziel's NFL career. Odell Beckham Jr., WR, New York Giants. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. had one of the most iconic catches in NFL history and was a force to be reckoned with straight out of the gates following his successful college career at LSU. I mean, the dude was the Giants' offense for a while. Honestly, I'd take that a step further. With Eli Manning in the later days of his career, OBJ was quickly becoming the team's identity at large. And, you know, the fans loved him at first. Even with the genesis of the sideline tantrums, they supported him, but as the behavior escalated, and, well, they began to take away from Beckham and the team's performance, the fans flipped fast. OBJ's talents were never the issue, but with diminished production and a never-ending slew of headlines, Giants fans got fed up, and rightfully so. The boat trip, the net kicking, the endless drama. He didn't reach Antonio Brown levels of chaos, but he was far from low maintenance. To the point that once the trade rumors hit, fans didn't even protest despite Beckham being one of the most talented players. They just sort of shrugged and moved on, eager to put the headache of rooting for such an erratic star behind him. George Pickens, WR, Pittsburgh Steelers. With the fan base already growing weary of his inconsistent effort and untimely blunders, things boiled over during a game against Washington when Pickens delivered a cheap shot on cornerback Mikey Singerstill after an interception, sparking instant backlash. Some fans defended it as old-school Steelers toughness, while others saw it as reckless and unnecessary. And unfortunately, it wasn't an isolated moment. Pickens had already shown visible signs of frustration, pouting on the sidelines, ignoring teammates, and clashing with coaches. And for a franchise that's seen some of the most diva receivers come and go, Pickens just started to feel like deja vu. And, well, they eventually chased him out of town entirely. Jay Cutler, QB, Chicago Bears. Jay Cutler had one of the strongest arms in the league, but in Chicago, his legacy is more about the body language than the bombs. The man affectionately known as Smokin' Jay never looked like he cared. In fact, I don't think he did. And fans hated that. He'd shrug after interceptions, stare blankly at the sideline, and give off energy like he'd rather be anywhere else. And right or wrong, it seemed to eat away at the fan base. Things really unraveled in the 2011 NFC Championship when Cutler left the game with a sprained MCL. And suddenly, fans and analysts across the country were questioning his toughness. Cutler rebelled further, and in short order, it was clear that the difference between the two sides was irreconcilable. Harrison Butker, kicker, Kansas City Chiefs. For years, Harrison Butker was just a reliable kicker on a championship team. But all that changed when he stepped up to the podium at Benedictine College and delivered one of the most controversial commencement speeches in recent NFL memory. His remarks, criticizing abortion rights, same-sex marriage, and urging women to embrace homemaking, sparked an immediate and fierce backlash, even within the Chiefs' own fan base. Yeah, no shocker here, but a large segment of Chiefs fans still love to hate on him regardless of how many kicks that he makes. Josh Rosen, QB, Arizona Cardinals. Josh Rosen arrived in Arizona with a chip on his shoulder and a lot to prove.
I'm absolutely the best quarterback in the draft, by far. I want to win Super Bowls, and I want to have the most, so I'm coming for Tom Brady's record.
He famously declared that 9 teams had made a mistake by passing on him. Turns out, they might have been right.
There were 9 mistakes made ahead of me, and I will make sure over the next decade or so that they will know that they made a mistake.
You see, Rosen never looked comfortable in Arizona. His mechanics were inconsistent, his confidence wavered, and worst of all, he just didn't seem interested. Like, at all. Which, definitely caused some fans to turn on him entirely. Deshaun Watson, QB, Houston Texans. Once seen as the golden child of the Texans franchise, Watson's image started to fade when rumors of a trade demand surfaced, and then imploded after more than 24 women accused him of sexual misconduct. Legal chaos, the PR nightmare, and his refusal to suit up all made things even worse. At this point, it isn't just Texans or Browns fans that hate on Watson, though. Clemson's former Golden Boy has really just fallen out of favor with the entire NFL in a major way. Deontay Johnson, WR, Baltimore Ravens. When the Ravens brought in Deontay Johnson, fans thought that they were getting a reliable chain-moving wideout. Only Johnson barely made it through 2 weeks with the team, and Ernie DaCosta cut bait near the end of the month following a disastrous scene where Johnson refused to enter a game against the Eagles. Le'Veon Bell, RB, Pittsburgh Steelers. There was a time that Bell was the guy in Pittsburgh, even among the the Killer Bees trio that featured Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. His patented running style was also explosive, and there was a stretch that he just seemed unstoppable. The man was truly beloved, until 2017, when Bell wasn't happy that the Steelers franchise tagged him instead of paying him, and well, he began to sit out. And at first, fans let it go. But nothing will drive a wedge between a player, even a star like Bell, and the fans like sitting out actual games. And Bell took that to a new level when he sat out a whole season as he tried to leverage the team for a new contract. Bell's holdout felt like a betrayal, and the fact that he never returned to form after leaving only made it worse. From franchise hero to forgotten weapon, Bell's fall in Pittsburgh was fast and final, and the fans let him hear it, both on the field when he suited up for other teams and on social media. But hey, which NFL player do you think was most hated on by their team's fans? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Who do you think we got right here? Who do you think we got wrong? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps out a ton. If you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.